Team Canada's major Olympic triumphs this Monday night. A gold medal finish, a gold scoring record smashed, and celebration for a silver. Complaints pile up about Toronto's snow removal.
I don't think they've done a reasonable job clearing.
The potential hazards and what's in the forecast. Plus, bidding farewell to a member of Hollywood royalty.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Oscar-winning actor Robert Duvall's indelible commitment to his craft.
Global National with Donna Friesen, reporting tonight, Ann Gaviola.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us. Team Canada's medal count got a big boost today with 2 more podium finishes. Speed skater Courtney Sarault captured the country's 10th medal, earning a silver in 1,000-meter short track. And later, freestyle skier Megan Oldham got us a gold in big air. Mike Armstrong is in Milan covering the Olympics for us. Mike?
Well, and in the big air competition, each skier gets 3 runs, their best 2 count. Well, Megan Oldham didn't need her third. Oldham's scores on the first 2 runs were enough to hold on to first place. The 24-year-old finished 4th 4 years ago. She is now the Olympic champion. Speed skater Courtney Sarault added a 3rd medal to her tally Monday. Going into the 1,000 meters, she was the top-ranked skater in the world and was out for gold. Well, on the 6th lap, she took a turn a bit too wide and was passed by 2 skaters. Sarault caught one of them and crossed the line second. After the race, Sarault said she regretted how she reacted after the finish. Her disappointment was visible, and she said it made her look like a sore loser. Well, within a few minutes, the smile was back. As for going home with the gold, Sarault still has 2 chances. She'll be in the 1,500 meters and the women's 3,000 meters relay. Now, the Canadian men's relay team was back on the ice Monday. They held off a late challenge, finishing first in their semifinal for the 5,000 meters. They'll go in the final Friday. Now, there was no fairy tale ending for Diana Stellato-Dudek and Maxime Deschamps in figure skating. Just back from injury and the oldest skater in a century, it was an accomplishment just making it back to the competition. The other Canadian pair went into the free skate in 3rd, but both stumbled and fell out of contention. Now, one of the medal hopefuls remaining for Canada this week is Cassie Sharp in the snowboard halfpipe. We're going to have a look at her journey a little later in the show and how the 2-time medalist is back for more, but this time as a mom. Ann?
Mike Armstrong in Milan, Italy. Thank you. The Canadian women's hockey team will face the U.S. in the gold medal final after beating Switzerland today. Canada beat the Swiss team 2-1 in the semifinal matchup. Team captain Marie-Philippe Poulin scored both goals for Canada, and she even broke a record. The 34-year-old became the all-time leading goal scorer in Olympic women's hockey, a record previously held by Canadian Hayley Wickenheiser. It's been more than 2 weeks since Nancy Guthrie, mother of NBC anchor Savannah Guthrie, disappeared from her Arizona home, and there remain few promising leads. Today, local authorities cleared all members of the Guthrie family as suspects in her disappearance. And as Jackson Proskow reports, Savannah Guthrie is now pleading with whoever abducted her mother to do the right thing.
We still have hope, and we still believe.
In a new Instagram post, NBC's Savannah Guthrie issued a fresh plea to whoever may have abducted her 84-year-old mother.
It's never too late. And you're not lost or alone. And it is never too late to do the right thing.
More than 2 weeks after Nancy Guthrie disappeared, investigators have no known leads. Only this frightening security camera video from Guthrie's video doorbell, showing a masked man wearing gloves and a backpack obscuring the camera.
That's really what we're focused on. We've got to find that guy. Right now, he's who we want. Somebody out there knows who this is.
Over the weekend, a pair of gloves found about 3 kilometers from Guthrie's home were tested and found to have the DNA of an unknown person. Police say the gloves appear to match those worn by the masked person in the video.
If they're able to match the DNA from inside that residence with the glove they found on the outside, then that's where you got the home run.
Beyond that, there's little hard evidence. Police are looking for where the backpack and mask may have been purchased. A broader plea for neighbors to turn in security camera footage has proven fruitless in an area where homes are set back far from unlit roads.
The whole world just wants to know where she is and help find her, because I think that's how much people love the family, the Guthrie family.
A flood of tips and a $100,000 reward haven't been enough to narrow the search. Police are still considering everything from a targeted abduction to a burglary gone wrong. Little comfort to Guthrie's family, which is left to bear the weight of this confounding case. Jackson Proskow, Global News, Washington.
Prime Minister Mark Carney has named Janice Charette Canada's chief trade negotiator with the U.S. He says Charette, the former head of the Public Service, will help strengthen the trade and investment relationship that benefits both sides of the border. She will also play a key role in the review of CUSMA, the North American Free Trade Pact, known as the Canada-U.S.-Mexico Agreement. Carney says she is an extraordinary leader with 4 decades of experience in public policy and diplomacy. Ahead of that CUSMA review, Canada is trying to improve ties with Mexico, with its largest trade mission there in decades. Canada-U.S. Trade Minister Dominic LeBlanc is in Mexico City with hundreds of Canadian delegates and business representatives. LeBlanc says Canada is aiming to have new trade deals signed with Mexico by early spring. The country is Canada's 3rd largest trading partner after the U.S. and China. Toronto is still digging out of record-breaking snowfall from more than 3 weeks ago. The city was hit with more than 50 centimetres of snow in one day at the end of January. But as Seán O'Shea reports, residents are frustrated with how long the cleanup is taking.
The cleanup continues, more than 3 weeks after Toronto was hit with a record-breaking one-day snowfall.
60 centimeters was the total in less than 24 hours. So that's a lot of snow falling over Canada's biggest city.
Crews have moved tons of that snow here to what looks like a mountain, where heavy equipment is being used to pile the dirty snow high. The city claimed it was ready for the snowfall, had learned from previous winters, and was prepared to move snow effectively from streets and sidewalks. But 3 weeks later,
terrible. I don't think they've done a reasonable job clearing.
Many residents aren't happy with the response. For example, it took more than a week before the city got around to begin clearing bike lanes. This personal injury lawyer, who represents cyclists, says that delay put people in danger.
Huge ice mounds at the ends of bike lanes, forcing people into traffic.
A concern shared by those who use different modes of travel to move.
It's hard to get around, it's hard to drive. And, walking around just on the streets, you can slip and fall. So it's been pretty bad.
Warmer weather in the last few days has depleted some of the piles, though laneways and other areas still face challenges.
I'm healthy, I can walk and everything, but for challenging for other people with problem.
Daryl Kenny is among those who've had to be extra careful.
I'm getting up there in age, so it's hard, especially if they leave a lot of snow on the ground.
The city asked for the public's patience to move the snow, but that patience has waned as the cleanup drags on.
Sidewalks, bike lanes are unplowed, then you're acting more like a municipality in Miami than you are up in Toronto.
Yes, it was a record dump and everything else, but the city should have been prepared.
And more snow is on the way.
Friday, we're watching another system that could either be snow or rain, so it's a very active week ahead.
It all means travel troubles for residents and commuters and another cleanup in what has already been a tough winter here. Ann?
Seán O'Shea in Toronto, thank you. A 13-year-old girl from Ottawa who was seriously injured during a school ski trip in western Quebec has died in hospital. The incident happened Wednesday at Centre Vorlage ski resort near Wakefield. The student was alone on a chairlift when a piece of her clothing became caught in the chair. The resort says it is cooperating with police as their investigation into the incident continues. In BC, Premier David Eby says his province is marking Family Day with heavy hearts as it aches for the families of Tumbler Ridge. In a statement, he says, on Family Day, we spend time with the people we love and who are important to us. This day offers us a chance to reflect on the importance of family, both the ones into which we are born and those we build. Family provides an anchor in uncertain times. May we all find comfort and support from our families. And events were held around the world today, marking 2 years since the death of Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny. The anti-corruption campaigner and strong critic of President Vladimir Putin died suddenly in a maximum security prison in the Russian Arctic in 2024. As Vincent McAvenny reports, 5 European governments accuse Russia of using a rare deadly toxin found in poisoned dart frogs.
At Alexei Navalny's grave in Moscow, supporters, friends, family and senior diplomats, including Canada's ambassador to Russia, came to pay their respects on the second anniversary of his death. Among them, Alexei's mother Ludmila, who always believed her son was murdered by President Putin's government, something now seemingly confirmed by new analysis of smuggled tissue samples. Over the weekend, Britain, Sweden, France, Germany and the Netherlands released a joint statement alleging poisoning was highly likely the cause of death for Navalny, specifically a rare deadly toxin, epibadotine, found in poisoned dart frogs in South America. The toxin can be injected or ingested and is said to be fast-acting and unpleasant.
The respiratory muscles become paralyzed and you become cardiac. Also the heart is affected. You do not have enough oxygen, and this is for the brain not very good. So you will have coma and death.
At the Munich Security Conference on Saturday, Alexei's widow Yulia met with the Allies' foreign secretaries to discuss their finding.
Now, it's not just words, it's scientific proof that my husband, Alexei Navalny, was poisoned and killed by Russian government and by Vladimir Putin in Russian prison.
Her European allies are unequivocal on who's to blame.
Only the Russian government had the means, the motive and the opportunity to use that toxin against Alexei Navalny in prison.
The Kremlin has denied the accusation, claiming Alexei died of natural causes. They've sought to outlaw his movement as extremist, but Yulia has carried on her late husband's work in exile. Vincent McAviney, Global News, London.
In Australia, a suspect in the Bondi Beach mass shooting appeared in court for the first time today. 24-year-old Naveed Akram faces 59 charges, including 15 counts of murder and a terror offense. He is accused of carrying out the December attack at a Jewish festival with his father, who was shot dead by police at the scene. Akram's lawyer says it's too early to say how he'll plead. Blatant lies about ballooning costs coming up. What a public inquiry is saying about the Quebec Auto Insurance Board's botched rollout of its digital platform. A scathing report into the botched rollout of a website for Quebec's Auto Insurance Board has found the board lied to the province to hide the exploding costs of the project, now $500 million over budget. Today, Premier François Legault says his government is looking into legal options against those who misled them. Dan Spector reports.
Managers at Quebec's Auto Insurance Board knowingly lied to the government and the public to hide a massive cost overrun in its CASA SAAQ digital transformation project, says Judge Denis Galland as he reveals the results of an extensive investigation into the scandal.
Trop vaste, trop ambitieux.
The project was too big, too ambitious, and needed to be completed too quickly, he explains. The initial contract to create the new SAAQ website was signed for $458 million in 2017. By 2025, an Auditor General's report pegged it at $1.1 billion.
The whole truth was not communicated to the authorities.
Not only was the project over budget, its rushed 2023 rollout was a total faceplant.
It's been a mess, big mess.
The website was supposed to make it easier for people to renew their licenses or sell cars, but it crashed, forcing people to wait in massive lines at SAAQ locations.
It's closed.
Galland paused his work as a municipal court judge to preside over 75 days of hearings into the controversy. He heard from 124 witnesses, including Premier François Legault, in a mission to find out who knew what and when.
On aurait pu peut-être être plus méfiant.
We could have been more vigilant and asked more questions, Premier Legault said after the report was released. He says he's considering legal action against former SAAQ leadership, adding he feels Galland mostly exonerated his government, but his adversaries strongly disagree and say Quebecers should be mad.
They were lied to by their government and they should be angry about that.
Legault has already announced he'll step down in April, and the SAAQ scandal was a key contributor to his plunging popularity. Galland made 26 recommendations, including the creation of a tiger team that would help the province navigate future digital transformations with more efficiency. Dan Spector, Global News, Quebec City.
Ahead, a veteran Canadian Olympians return to the Games. As many Canadians mark Family Day across the country, one athlete is competing in the Olympics for the first time as a parent. Cassie Sharp hits the halfpipe qualifiers Thursday. A veteran of 2 Winter Games with both gold and silver, she had been leaning towards retirement, but she did a complete 180. Once again, here's Mike Armstrong.
All right, Cassie.
She is a legend in her sport.
Yep, there's that amplitude on that left 900.
And she's still winning. Cassie Sharp took bronze at last month's X Games and gold the year before. She also won the bronze at the World Championships. But all of it came after she thought she'd skied her final run.
When I got pregnant, I was like, I think that's it. Like, that's good. Like, I've done a lot in my sport. I don't feel like I really need to do more. And then I had Lou, and she was about 5 months old, and I was watching the X Games. And I was like, ooh, maybe I'm not done.
Sharp returned to the halfpipe last season, but this time at the bottom of the hill with a new fan, her daughter Luella. The new job as a mother, she says, was simply the best thing she'd ever done, but the sport was still calling.
In your everyday life, you don't get the adrenaline rush that everybody kind of chases in sport. Like standing at the top of the halfpipe and like the anticipation of dropping in and competing. Like, I was just like, where do I find that in everyday life again?
Now, to make things work, Sharp and her husband have had help. Her mother took a leave of absence from her job and has been traveling with her, caring for Luella. Sharp says it's been a chance to watch her mother up close as a grandmother.
My mom is like such a positive person in my life. Like, she's always been the one, like when I'm doubting myself, like she's always been the one to be like, nope, like remember what we've always said, like you believe in yourself and you trust your gut. And I feel like she's like taking those things that she taught me and like now instilling them in Luella as well.
Taking 2 years off isn't easy. Sharp says her goal coming back was just to make it to the Olympics. Anything else is a bonus. But she's worked her way back from a serious injury before.
60.
Tore her ACL and MCL and fractured her femur in 2021.
I came back from a knee surgery and I competed a year out from having full knee surgery and I got silver. Like, that's a huge thing. So now I'm taking that same energy saying, I had a baby 2 years ago and I built my way back up to coming back to the Olympics and competing. That's huge.
Now, Sharp is pretty good at holding on to her perspective. In the last Olympics, she was the reigning champion and finished second. A reporter asked her after the race how she felt, whether she was disappointed. She said, no, I just finished fourth at the Olympics. What she wanted to add was, what did you do today? Anne?
Once again, Mike Armstrong in Milan. Thank you.
Well, I mean, it's pretty hairy in there. It's Charlie's point. Charlie, don't surf!
Next, remembering Robert Duvall, the 7-time Oscar nominee and one of Hollywood's most enduring actors. He was a versatile actor who made a major impact over 7 decades. Oscar winner Robert Duvall has died, and he's being remembered for many strong performances, including in The Godfather and Apocalypse Now. On Facebook, his wife posted, for each of his many roles, Bob gave everything to his characters and to the truth of the human spirit they represented. Eric Sorensen looks back at the legacy he leaves behind.
Robert Duvall was in some of the biggest films in Hollywood history.
They shot Sonny on the causeway. He's dead.
Often in supporting roles, but always memorable, as The Godfather's consigliere, or the brazen commander unfazed by the horrors of war in Apocalypse Now.
I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
Duvall had early parts in television, and as the reclusive Boo Radley in To Kill a Mockingbird, where he showed how he could lose himself and become any character.
Sometimes when you find an individual, you at least in my work, you try to capture some of that and
put it on film or on stage.
Duvall said he roamed East Texas looking for accents to play the part of a washed-up country singer in Tender Mercies.
When you gonna start singing again, sir?
I'm not going to start singing again, son. I've lost it.
It was a leading role, and Duvall won the Academy Award. Duvall often created characters like the great Santini, intense and unforgettable.
You disobeyed a direct order, Hawk! A direct order from your commanding officer. Yes, sir.
The late James Caan described what it was like to work with Duvall.
Never felt more creatively satisfied. And basically, I never met anybody with any more passion or energy.
Duvall starred in the acclaimed TV series Lonesome Dove. He also directed films.
So where you from? You name it, I've been there. I got a little bit everywhere.
The Apostle, screened at the Toronto International Film Festival, was financed by Duvall himself.
I couldn't get a nickel out of anybody in that town or New York or anywhere. So it's something we had to do on our own.
He said he never looked back on any particular roles as his best.
I would like to think that I get a little better as I get older, you know, because I've always kind of been a late bloomer. And I do things better as I get older.
He wasn't always cast as a leading man, but for 7 decades the phone never stopped ringing for an actor's actor. Robert Duvall, dead at 95.
That is Global National for this Monday. I'm Ann Gaviola. Tonight's Your Canada is Cranbrook, BC. We love to see your Canada. Please email us. Thanks for watching. Jeff Semple will be at the anchor desk tomorrow. Have a great night.